Good afternoon, it's Claudine from Rascal and Crow Farm here. This is harvesting day of our heirloom tomatoes. This is a dwarf variety, a little small tomato, as you can see, a little 2-incher there. And so this came off of a couple of plants, first time of these dwarfs, so little cooler year, not as great a harvest as we normally get, but always on the first planting you never really usually get very big harvests anyways. So what we're showing you here is how we preserve them, how we store them for their ripening. Now, don't worry that your tomatoes are green. This is now the right stage, the right green stage. You're counting 2 weeks, you're counting 5 weeks, 5 weeks from flower to tomato. And I like to push it to 7 weeks because not all tomatoes grow at the same time, but I can harvest them all at about 7 weeks from flower to harvest. So that's what it is, and we've had a cooler year, so we have a lot of green colored tomatoes, but that's okay. They're at the right green stage to turn for ripening, and that's what you want for storage. And also it makes your life easier by not having all your tomatoes ripen at the same time. So these tomatoes here are again a Burl Beauty Dwarf. And what I do is I just go to Costco or a grocery store that has lots of produce boxes like this. This one's a small one because this is a small variety and I knew it would fit this box. So what I do is I line it with newspaper. And I line it with a couple of layers of newspaper because if I don't catch one that's ripening and it's gone soft on me and it leaks, then I can change out the paper to keep it nice and clean. But I check my tomatoes every 2 days so that I know what is ripening and what isn't for sauces, for selling, and all this good stuff. So there's a few things I want to show you. When you harvest off of your plant, you want to make sure that when you see your tomatoes, like you'll tend to want to leave them on a cluster with the vine on it, okay? The problem with this is that when they're green like this and they are ripening, that vine will dry out faster than the tomato will ripen, so it'll be a pain to take them off individually, and because you don't want to have an unsightly vine when you sell them or when you go to use them. So I take off the vines right away most of the time, unless I'm in a hurry for harvesting like I have been in the last few days. I'll go through all my boxes and take away the vines that I've left on. So they just deteriorate a lot faster than the actual tomato, and you won't be able to have a vine to save anyways for presentation. So that's what I do. When you see the store varieties, they pick them as they're ripened. And so in the hothouses, in the green hothouses, commercial hothouses. And so the vine is on the ripe tomato, which is okay, because they're still green and the tomatoes ripe. So here you won't have that. You'll have, if you store this with the vine will turn brown, be unsightly, and you'll have to pick off the tomatoes anyway. So you might as well do it now before they start to really turn, and that'll be a pain if you don't. So that's what I do. I take them off of the vine. Now the other thing I wanted to show you too is you're going to sometimes have let's see if we can get this is a tomato that looks kind of waxy. Don't know if you can see that. I need a bit of a contrast here, but okay, so this tomato is a waxy color. It's got a waxy coloring to it. It looks very dull. It's not shiny at all. And you want to chuck these out. So if you see a tomato that looks dull, it's not finished making and it won't ripen. And so it's no point in putting it in your box to ripen for storage. So throw these away. They'll be very light. That's another tell sign, is that they're very light and they will not ripen. So throw them away. I know it's a heartbreak to do it, but do it. And you'll have a few here and there because, of course, when you harvest, you might still have some small ones on there that are still growing. And you will see that they're dull and light and feel like there's no juice in them. So chuck them out. No point in storing them. They won't ripen. And you're good to go. So that's just a little tidbit on harvesting, which tomato to harvest when you come across this dullness and lightness, okay? So don't worry about doing that because you won't have a tomato anyways out of that. So that's pretty well all she wrote. I just wanted to show you how we store our tomatoes. The other thing is, just wanted to mention real quick, is that when you place them in the box, place them stem side down, please. It's a tougher area. It'll take the weight of the tomato better. If you put it this way, your tomatoes are going to ripen a little faster and it'll mush. So put them down on their stem and cut the stem at the nub. So just below the nub, you got that little nubby. Below the little nub joint, you want to snip it. And then they'll sit nice in your box. And that's pretty well it. So thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this video. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now.